Show.
Story time, it's story time. Everybody gather round. Mr. Gideon was his way. And the stories to tell us today. So blink your eyes and open the stand. Stop your feet and listen with class. Someone's coming, look through and see. It's our friend Mr. Petey. It's story time, it's story time. Everybody settle down. Mr. Petey, what do we say? Please tell us another story today.
Boys and girls, this is Mr. Peavy. Welcome to the Mr. Peavy Show. I'm going to read you this book. The name of the book is called The Starry Night, written and illustrated by Neil Walden. Okay, boys and girls, I'm going to read you the story. Boys and girls, we're going to read The Starry Night. Across the shaded hills and the winding pathways of Central Park, daffodil stars exploded in yellow splendor. A group of boys raced along the still reflecting pool while children played with sailboats under the watchful eye of their mothers. The boys darted around a sharp curve and ran past a frail-looking man who stood before an old wooden easel. The last of the boys came to a stop as the other charged off onto a grassy field. "Come on, Bernard," one of them called back, but Bernard didn't move. He just stood there staring at the brightly colored canvas. The man glanced at Bernard and returned to his painting. Bernard sat down in the grass. After a while, the man turned and nodded. "It is finished," he said in a funny sounding English. "The Big Apple never looked better," Bernard beamed. The man began packing up his paints and easel. "Where are you going?" Bernard asked. "To find another place that asks to be painted." "What's your name?" "Vincent," the man smiled. "Do you paint all the time?" "Yes," said Vincent. "That's why I am here." "Where do you come from?" Bernard asked. "Far away. I just arrived today." "Well, I've lived here all my life," Bernard said. "I could show you some amazing places." "I would like that very much," said Vincent. Bernard took Vincent north to Harlem, south to the Statue of Liberty, and east to the Brooklyn Bridge. They spent their days in Greenwich Village, in Chinatown, in Times Square. Wherever they went, Bernard watched as Vincent painted New York in bright, beautiful colors. Then one day, Vincent said, "It's time for me to go. But before I leave, there's one place I want to show you." Vincent took Bernard to a big building on 53rd Street. Inside, the walls were covered with beautiful paintings. They went up to the escalator on the second floor. Vincent led Bernard to a blue and yellow painting of a country village at night. Bernard stood silently for a long time. He could hardly breathe. Then he felt a shiver pass through him. "Vincent, it looks exactly like one of yours. You painted this picture, didn't you?" But there was no answer. So, boys and girls, that's all I'm going to read for you today. I want you to go to your public library and get the book, The Starry Night by Neil Walden, to find out what happened. Okay, boys and girls, here's what's coming up next.
I was in elementary school. I loved to go to the library, and I just love to read books. And I wrote my first stories when I was in the 3rd grade. They were fairy tales, and my teacher kept the book. So I've been writing ever since. But I became a Dayton Public School teacher, and and I'm also an artist. I also make soft sculpture dolls. And I made a soft sculpture doll, and I decided to take it to school to see how the kids react. The kids was overwhelmed. They loved the doll. And I named the doll Mr. Peavy. So I went home and I said, okay, you know what? This may be a children's book in the making. So it took me an hour to actually come up with the story, but a week to actually do the paintings. I did 34 paintings. And actually, Mr. Peavy, I have Mr. Peavy in the studio. And I made, actually it's a soft sculpture doll that I made about 5 years ago. And, well, the kids just loved him. And actually what I've done now, I've made him animatronic so he actually can move, so he nods his head. He also has speakers inside of his chest, so he'll be able to read my book, hold and read my book. So this is what I'm going to be doing, Reading Across America. Basically, what I'm doing now is getting my books in different schools. I'm getting ready to put them in Columbus Public Schools, also Dayton Public Schools. This young man here was instrumental in getting in Mr. Peavy in Dayton Public Schools, is also in the Dayton Public Library. Anybody have any questions about Mr. Peavy? Want to ask me? Or?
Well, you mentioned Read Across America, and Mr. Peavy will be reading and
yes.
visiting the schools.
Yes, Mr. Peavy is going to be visiting some schools. What I'm going to do is something new. Normally I would read the book, but because I have Mr. Peavy set up with a tape recorder, I can actually have Mr. Peavy hold the book and read the book to the kids. So that's what he's going to be doing. I'm going to be probably showing the pictures of my book, and instead of reading. So that'd be sort of added treat for the children to have him actually read his own book. Mr. Peavy, we've been to Hickorydale School.
Okay, great.
Fun nights. Yeah.
Great.
So he's available.
Okay, well that is really, really great. Mr. Peavy gets around as much as I do.
He's 95 years old and doing pretty good.
95 years old and doing pretty good.
What does he, how does he actually interact with the children?
Well, what's happening is that he has speakers that I pre-recorded Mr. Peavy's voice. I'm giving away a secret, but that's okay. And I attached the computer, tape recorder, and then he just reads the story. And then the children comes up to him, and I had originally this is Mr. Peavy voice. I'm gonna give you Mr. Peavy voice. Hello, my name is Mr. Peavy. What's your name? And the students say, John. How old are you? 8. And so that's how I had it. Yes, that interaction with the kids.
What grades do you work with?
Well, actually, preschool, elementary. Preschool, probably the elementary, 6th grade. Yeah.
Even a 6th grader would learn?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I had so many. When I was teaching at Fairview Elementary, the older kids was really just as much enthralled with Mr. Peavy as the younger kids. They just loved him. You know, so just real. I dedicate my book to the children of Fairview Elementary.
Oh, that's right. That was
so
wonderful.
that was just really.
You know, and there's a lot of that there. I mean, we have gifts and talents within us, you know, which we call the vision within us, that is going to die because we have nobody to help promote us or give us a pat on the back for the things that we're doing. And that's why I appreciate Ms. Rutherford. She saw something and it became a vision and she made it reality. You know, so she has her victory because she has Mr. Peavy. And Mr. Peavy is 95 years old. Is Mr. Peavy single?
I believe so. I believe so.
Okay. Would you tell us a little bit about Mr. Peavy, where he was born and where he was reared?
Okay, Mr. Peavy is earlier I said he was 95 years old. He was born in Mississippi. When he was 17 years old, he left home and became a hobo. I know a lot of people the older generation understand what I mean by the term hobo. And the younger generation, for the younger generation who's listening, hobo was a means during the Depression era. There were a lot of men that were out of work. And these men didn't have a place to stay, so what they did was hop the rails. And the rails, when I'm saying hopping the rails, meant they would go and get on trains actually legally, because they didn't have money to pay tickets, so they would wait until a boxcar door was open and the train would slow down to the next town, and they would just jump on, and they would live actually near the, you would see campsites near the train railroad tracks where the hobos would camp during the night. And Mr. Peavy did that for a while. Then he went to Chicago and joined a blues band. He played the harp, which is another name for harmonica. And then after he did that for a while, he made his way back towards the south to Dayton, Ohio. And I met Mr. Peavy, and he's a neighbor of mine, and he told me his story, and I thought it was a great person to write a story about. So that's how Mr. Peavy came about.
That is fantastic. Well, maybe somewhere we'll find out Mrs. Peavy.
Oh, I don't know if there's a Mrs. Peavy.
Well, you don't know. One of your students might decide that they don't want him to be lonely the rest of his life.
But he's a great grandfather. I think he's 95 years old. He loves all the neighborhood children. And when I was growing up, we had a lot of elderly people who would watch out for us. When we did something wrong, I'm going to tell your mother. They would go home because I'm going to tell your mother. So, you know, the African proverb, you know, a village takes a village to raise a child. That's what they did. And that's why I'm going to bring back the senior citizen in a positive light. So not only they're here and they have a wealth of knowledge in like the senior citizen homes. And that's what Mr. Peavy's going to start going around to the different senior citizen homes and talk with the senior citizens, because they have a lot of knowledge and stories and things to give to the youth. And I think that's good that, you know, that I want him to do that. And he's in a wheelchair. He has trouble walking. And the thing is, he's about, how old are you? How tall are you? How tall are you? 6'3". So he's 6 feet. So. And so I take him around in a wheelchair, and I went to Gorman School. Oh, they loved it, because that school is for the handicapped, and oh, they just fell in love with Mr. Peavy. So he's got to come back too. So I'm really available. Mr. Peavy is available to read at different organization, schools. Because, you know, during my intercession back when I was teaching, I would take Mr. Peavy around and read my book to different schools. So I'm still available for churches and different organizations like that. So, because I just want to share the knowledge. So reading is powerful. I mean, it's really, the word is very powerful. So I really enjoy creating Mr. Peavy.
You touched on my proverb again.
Yes, yes.
It takes a whole village to raise a child. And what do you think that really, really means? I mean, because I remember when I was a little girl, and when I first heard it, I mean, it struck home to me, because when I was a little girl, we lived on one corner.
Hello, boys and girls. This is Bob the Clown, and we're here in my art room. And today, boys and girls, we're going to do something very special, something that I know you really like. And what I'm going to do it several times, this project, so you'll be able to learn how to do it at home. It's very simple. Only thing you need, boys and girls, and it's called a God's Eye. This comes from Mexico. This project comes from Mexico. And the Mexicans would put this on their door to ward off evil spirits. So I don't know if that will do that, but we're going to make it because it's fun to do, and also it's really neat to hang on your walls. Okay, or your Christmas tree ornaments. Okay, what you need is 2 popsicle sticks or craft sticks. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to make a cross, just like this. And I want the boys and girls to look at this, and I'll do it very slowly. I'm placing one craft stick on top of the other, and I'm using my thumb to hold it in place. Okay, boys and girls? Now, next, boys and girls, I'm going to put that aside and introduce you some other things that we need. We need yarn. Okay, you can buy yarn at any discount store. This costs like, I think, 88 cents. Now, I'm going to show you 2 different ways you can do this. First of all, I'm going to show you how you can use plain colors and another color and mix it up. Okay, so right now, we're going to pull off, I'm just going to guess here, this much yarn. You can take scissors and we're going to cut it, okay? So about that much, boys and girls. Just to start off with, okay? You know, you don't have to measure with a ruler or anything like that. Next, boys and girls, you're going to take the end, one end of the yarn, and you're going to take remember we make the cross, you place your thumb on top of the yarn like so. Now, first of all, to keep the craft sticks in place, you're going to start wrapping. You'll wrap a couple times this direction, then turn it, and a couple times this direction, okay? Next, we're going to start actually doing the God's eye. And I'm going to do it several times because I know a lot of times you may not get it on the first or 2 or 3 try, but keep trying. Don't get frustrated because it took me a while to learn this too. But the secret is to keep trying, okay? So I'm going to say this, and if you say this out loud or to yourself, I think you'll be able to do this. You're going over, under, turn. Over, under, turn. Over, under, turn. And see the patterns becoming, boys and girls? Over, under, turn. Over, under, turn. Now I'm going to say that to yourself, boys and girls. Now notice the pattern forming. Notice that pattern. Okay, now all the boys and girls, can you zoom in there so the boys and girls can see that pattern forming? Okay. See that forming? Okay. Okay, so we said over, under, turn. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to do this fast, but I'm going to go back and do it slower so I can show you how to add another color when you have plain colors. Okay, can all the boys and girls see that? See that beautiful pattern forming? This is a God's eye. Like I said, it comes from Mexico, and the Spanish people thought that this would ward off evil spirits. They put this on their door, but also I think it's just beautiful just to hang on your wall or hang on your Christmas tree ornament. Now, we can continue to wrap this until it gets to this length. Then we can add another color, and it's very simple. What we're going to do, we're going to pull out the yarn again, probably the same length that we had with the red yarn. This is blue yarn. Okay. All right, we'll pull out this and we'll take scissors. Always use round pointed scissors, boys and girls. If you're using pointed scissors, you should have your older brothers and sisters with you to help you so you won't, and never run with scissors. Never run with scissors. Okay, you know how to tie your shoes? Boys and girls, I know everybody out there know how to tie their shoes. And when I was your age, boys and girls, I used to tie my shoes in knots. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to tie this in a knot. Take the blue string and the red string, and we're going to make a knot. Okay? See what we're doing there, boys and girls? Okay. Tie it once. And you know what? I always like to tie it twice, because just in case, because sometimes knots come loose. Okay. There you go. Now, we've got the red yarn connected to the blue yarn now, boys and girls. So we're going to do the same thing. Remember, over, under, turn. Over, under, turn. When I say turn, notice what I do, boys and girls, when I say turn. Over, under, I move my hand. You see how I move my hand, boys and girls? Over, under. And watch what's going to happen, boys and girls, when we start doing this. Watch what's going to happen. Do you see that color changing, boys and girls? Do you see that change? Now, notice we got some yarn hanging out like this. Just take scissors. Make sure you don't cut your string. Just cut where the yarn is sticking out so you won't ruin your little design there, okay? Cut that. Okay. Over, under, turn. Look at that color changing, boys and girls. Over, under, turn. Okay? That is neat. Only thing you need, boys and girls, is yarn and craft sticks. Okay, over, under. Now, if you want to make it larger, you can go out in your yard and get sticks. You get regular sticks that's laying in your yard. Make sure they're thick enough so they won't break, and you can try to get them as straight as possible. But if they're crooked, that adds to the decor of it. Okay, decor means decorate. Okay, okay, over, under, turn. So right now, and also, boys and girls, I noticed when I was teaching other boys and girls this project, they tend to want to do this. Don't do that, boys and girls. See, that ruins the design. You're going to go back, and you're going to place your yarn right next to each other. Over, under, turn. Over, under, turn. Over. Everybody can do this. Over, under, turn. This is easy. And look how beautiful that design is turning out, boys and girls. Over, under, turn. You can go all the way to the end. And I'm going to get another piece of yarn as soon as I'll get red again, because I like red and blue. That's one of my favorite colors. See how that design's looking, boys and girls? It's beautiful. This is an easy way, and you can hang this on your Christmas trees. You can also make a mobile, you know, make more than one and connect them together and hang them from your ceiling. I mean, just so many ways you can do this, boys and girls. It's absolutely great. Okay, now, and so boys and girls, you also can add more colors to this, okay? You can tie this again. Also, boys and girls, if you want to use, if you don't want to tie your colors together, get some yarn that all have the same color, different colors. And then as you wrap, the colors will start changing, boys and girls. So what we're going to do is, I got a couple more minutes to go, boys and girls. I'm going to finish this one. I'm going to tie this and continue this all the way to the end, boys and girls. And this is going to be a neat Christmas tree ornament or something that you can use as a mobile, as I said. Don't worry about that string there. Remember, we cut that, okay? All right, so we're going to keep wrapping, see how that's adding. Isn't that beautiful, boys and girls? I need to cut my yarn. Bob the Clown got to cut a yarn, okay? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think Ron wants this. You want this, Ron? Okay, I'm going to give this to Ron, my assistant over there. He's done a great job. Okay, and how you stop this, boys and girls, we take this yarn, we wrap it a couple of times around one of the ends, and we're going to make a loop. See that loop I'm making, boys and girls? Okay, a loop like that. Take this in here and put it through the loop, and that will tie it, hopefully. Okay, it should tie. There you go. There you go. And so you'll be able to hang it. Oh, that's a great Christmas tree ornament. Isn't that great, boys and girls? Okay, boys and girls, that's all we have for today. This is so great. This is a God's eye. And like I said, you can get it, the material at any discount store, popsicle stick, craft sticks, and yarn. Okay, boys and girls? So that's all we have for today, boys and girls. This is Bob the Clown. Have a nice day.
So